Welcome back. It may be Valentine's Day, but there is no love lost between Doug Ford and John Tory. Since Tory's victory in the 2014 municipal election, Ford has been taking time off, writing a book, and waiting to see what John Tory does next. Last night, Doug Ford made his strongest case against Tory, labeling him a liar at a town hall along with Giorgio Mammoliti, and that town hall was held before this week's council meeting on the budget. Doug Ford hasn't said if he would run in the next municipal election. It's certainly starting to look that way. And Doug Ford joins us now along with Giorgio Mammoliti. Gentlemen, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having us on.
Okay.
Thanks for having me on, too.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay. Doug, you called John Tory a liar. Why?
Well, because he does. He lied throughout the campaign. He lied on numerous occasions, and I call him a political fraudster.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's when you put out promises to people that you're going to maintain taxes, you're not going to implement toll roads, and it was just one lie after the other. And right now, Libby, we're looking at a roof tax. CVA tax, a city building fund, which is actually city building tax. So he misleads the people. He tries to play the shell game, not to mention the water tax. I could keep going all the way down the list here, but he misleads the people. Even with the tax rate, he's coming out and saying it's 2.3%. He's
2%, yeah.
No, well, 2%. It's actually closer to 4 or 5% when you start adding on the half a percentage here, half a percentage there. Then he has this garbage tax that not even David Miller had the nerve to separate the taxes and ding people that way. If you have a large container, it's over $300. Extra large is over $500 a year. You got to be kidding me.
Well,
so it's just tax. He spent $1 billion more than when Giorgio and I were down there. Where's the $1 billion in a couple of years gone? That's what I'd like to know.
Well, the province is downloading a lot of costs. Suddenly fixing the Gardiner is going to cost $1 billion more. The subway is going over. And he's given a lot of money to the TTC this year, money that he says it really needs. He doesn't want to cut bus routes. I mean, basically...
That's just... Yeah. That's a bunch of nonsense what he's saying, because actually the money going to TTC is to pay for wages. The vast majority of it, and it's just a big smokescreen. That's the problem. Along with the Gardiner, we don't have to be spending $1 billion on the Gardiner. We allocated $50 million a year over 10 years to maintain the Gardiner, but because of other interests, he wants to tear down the Gardiner, which is concerning. I'll let Giorgio take over from here, Libby.
Are you okay, Giorgio? What do you make of this?
Well, I'm one that says, the easiest thing to do is to ask the same old people to pay for everything. And that's really what this budget does. It basically says, we really don't want to look at the potential savings of City Hall. We don't want to look at amalgamating departments and finding the appropriate savings that are still there. And I'm talking about billions of dollars here. I'm not talking about just a few million. Instead, our Mayor Tory, is introducing a whole slew of Tory taxes, which is the easy way out. And people are going to be shocked after they get all the bills to know exactly what this mayor is doing to them, what this council is doing to them. And this is not something that he went on last election. He did not say that he was. In fact, he said, "I am not going to bring in tolls" last election. And the first person to do that at City Hall was the mayor. Mayor Tory had suggested that tolls be a part of this. And similar to many of the other taxes he's introducing, he's become a champion for increasing taxes and introducing new taxes. And some of us just can't stand by without letting the public know exactly what's going on before they get the bills, because most people are working during the day, and they only realize what's happening at City Hall after they open up their new bill and say, what the hell's going on here? Well, what the hell's going on here is Tory taxes all over the city, new ones, old ones. They're going to be increasing garbage rates, water rates. It all adds up, Libby, and it's time that we speak out against this and tell Mayor Tory that he's going down the wrong path.
Okay, let me give the numbers out. I'm sure people want to weigh in on this. 416-360-0740, toll-free 1-866-740-4740. We are on with Councillor Giorgio Mammoliti and Doug Ford. And Doug, it certainly looks like you're getting ready to run. Is that a reasonable conclusion?
Well, I'm going to be running either the province or the city. I'm just weighing the options, and right now we're both areas are in a financial disaster. But in government, be it the province or be it the city, we don't have a revenue problem. We never had a revenue problem. We have a spending problem down at City Hall and at the province. And we proved, along with Giorgio and the whole executive team when we were down there, we could save up to $1 billion. So there's a difference of really $2 billion. He spent an extra $1 billion in 2 years, and we saved $1 billion. I'd just like to know where all the money is going, and he's hiring people by the hundreds down there that we don't need.
Okay, I'm just going to read a statement that was just released by his office before we went to air, in the interests of some balance. And it said, as the mayor said on Monday, that was on a television show yesterday, anyone interviewing Doug Ford should ask about bus routes that were cut, the reductions that were brought about in the TTC budget, and the almost unending circus during the previous term. City Hall was So let me just finish. This is the statement from his office. City Hall was a circus under the Fords, and Torontonians said very clearly that they didn't want to go back. What's your reaction to that?
Well, that's the best he had. Go ahead, Giorgio. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I need to respond to this because this is the easiest way, and Mayor Tory does this. When he's backed into a corner, he comes out swinging and wants to insult people, right? And that's his favorite thing to do. Now, let me just say this to you. Former Mayor Rob Ford was doing a great job. We were all figuring out exactly where to find the money, and we did. And we found $1 billion, and we were set for the next budget to find another $1 billion. And we were doing it in a very responsible way. And when people could not fight that message, when they could not get to what we were doing, they decided to go after all of us personally, quite frankly. And the mayor, most of all, took the shots, and they became personal. If anybody started a circus, it were the people that did not want us to finish the agenda. And they came after us with guns a-blazing. And that's what created the circus down there.
And Doug,
so now Mayor Tory is turning it around as if the two people that are trying to make the Torontonians aware of what he's doing as the mayor, he's trying to make it sound like there was a circus. Mayor Tory, you're the one creating the circus by increasing taxes and getting people riled up and upset again.
Doug, when I think he was talking about your late brother Rob and you. So, what's your response to that statement?
Well, at any time, I'd love to sit down with John Tory and debate in front of the people. We'll put a list together what we accomplished in the first 2 years, be it having a historic labor deal, a labor peace, saving hundreds of millions of dollars on labor, making sure the TTC is a essential service. Because if we didn't do that, John Tory wouldn't have the backbone to do it. We saved $88 million on outsourcing the garbage that John Tory promised he was going to do out in Scarborough, and he lost the vote. Actually, he didn't even bother bringing it to council because he knew he was going to lose the vote. So he's losing the confidence of council already. When everyone holds hands down there, Libby, and sings Kumbaya, that's the most dangerous thing for the taxpayers of Toronto. That is extremely dangerous when someone goes unchallenged. That John Tory's gone unchallenged for 2 years. The only person that's really stepped up to the plate is Giorgio. So I congratulate Giorgio for bringing this to attention. We had a sold-out room, tickets weren't for sale, a packed room, over 700 people, standing room only. So people are ticked off. The common folks, he just doesn't. He's out of touch with reality.
What do you
And
just
I wanna-
just a second? Let me ask a question. So, what do you say to the critics who say that basically, in the previous term, there was just a lot of things that were neglected, repairs that weren't done, bus routes that were cut?
When
that is absolutely furthest from the truth. At any time, John Tory would be terrified to come on their radio station with us.
When you spend your time like they did last term, going after people's personalities and not dealing with the issues, and you know what happened. The media were all over the place. It was done intentionally so that things couldn't get done. So if you can't beat what the administration was doing, instead what they were doing is coming after people and creating the circus that he's talking about now. And now he's saying that, it's others that created the circus, when in reality, it was the people coming after the administration that created the circus down there. And it happens only when fiscal responsibility takes shape. Nobody wants to save the money. And they can't argue that point, so they go after people personally. I want to add that Mayor Tory was invited 2 months ago to the meeting that we had last night. We had an empty seat waiting for him because we wanted to hear from him and give us the logic as to why he thinks everything needs to go back up. Instead, what he's doing, if you notice with his statement, is he's becoming personal again. Why don't you just respond to what people are saying and asking, and that is, why is the garbage tax going up? Why are you introducing a new tax, a roof tax, so that our homeowners
Okay, Giorgio.
now have got to pay for rain that falls on your roof?
Okay, Giorgio, let's take a couple of calls from our listeners. We've got Dawn in Toronto. Hello, Dawn.
Hi, how are you? First, I'd like to say, Doug, I'm sorry about the loss of your brother. I just had to put that up there. Second of all, had your brother been in a proper headspace, he would have been he would have been a phenomenal mayor. Phenomenal. And he had personal demons, which I agree Tory is honing after. This precedes Tory and Rob Ford. Why the heck didn't this city see in the 70s or early 80s that we were going to explode with people? Did they honestly think 30 people were going to be living in Toronto? Like, give me a break. As for these taxes, it's out of hand. It's out of hand. Everywhere you turn, we're being taxed on something.
Yeah, but the province is, but the province is making us pay for things like the gardener without having the means to pay for it.
We don't have the means. I'm not saying, I don't know if we have the means or we don't have the means, but this little girl would like to see Tory gone, and I would welcome Doug Ford in there.
Okay.
I'd welcome his people in there because this is out of hand. $500 for our garbage bin, water. We live on a lake. We have water. It's out of hand what's happening here. Who's going to pay for these taxes? New immigrants coming in? No. They have to worry about a roof over their head. They have other things to worry about. This province is so heavily taxed across the board. We pay on everything.
Oh, I don't know what that is. What's that noise? Okay, Dawn, thanks for your call.
Thank you.
Doug, would you like to respond? Doug, are you there? Uh-oh, have we lost Doug? Okay, Doug.